Back, Goon Squad. It's an action-packed evening of sports, bets. Mark's getting ready to go on vacation, so we know this sumbitch is going to go off the rails at any time because he's a little bit spun up. Yes, it is My Brother's an Idiot, where we're going to talk about stuff and things and all of the other whatnots that we want to. Welcome. Let me kick you around the rest of the squad. Yeah, someone's phone is beeping.
That was me.
Oh, that was you. All right, good job by you.
That was the Facebook notification thing.
Notification that we just went live.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I am Matt. I am King of the Goons. Introducing next my co-brother-in-law, the founder and proprietor of Knox Nostalgia Collectibles, holding down Extreme Southern Command. Tank, what's going on?
My kid has lost 2 teeth in the last week.
By whose hand? And
Her
which
own.
kid?
Scarlett, her own.
Knocked him out or what?
No, that just rapid succession baby teeth came out. And she also lost one like 2 weeks ago, so like 3 in the last less than a month. Yeah, holy shit.
Kid is
Wow.
sprouting up, man.
Tooth Fairy's going to be awful busy at your house.
Yeah.
And Poe.
And
That
Poe.
man be Poe.
Yeah, that Tooth Fairy.
That Tooth Fairy could be Poe.
Tooth Fairy needs to invest. All right. And we just mentioned it. He's getting ready to go on his honeymoon. He's literally hours away from departing the friendly confines of Colorado and heading to Bermuda by way of Boston. He's the man we've named the podcast after because, yes, ladies and gentlemen, he's an idiot. I summon him, my brother Mark. Goon!
I'm here, guys. How's it going?
Hi.
Doing good, man. Let's go.
How we doing?
We're good. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Not
Thank
bad.
you for asking.
Not
Thank
bad.
you for asking.
You ready to
Oh,
go
yeah.
on your trip, huh?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. Can't wait to see
Well,
how the pictures-
and we were talking about it this week. This is the first time I've been on vacation in a long time and not had to deal with responsibilities elsewhere as far as, work. Not being a manager of a building or dealing with schedules or anything like that. I don't have to deal with any of that bullshit. So I'm fucking 100%, other than talking to the family, cut the cord. I'm fucking out of this bitch.
I was gonna say, turn the phone off for a week and a half. Yeah.
Right.
beat it, nerd.
Out of this bitch.
There you go.
So we'll start the vacation off with a little thirst mutilator.
What's that?
It's Shorts Brewing. Hop soda, lemon lime flavor.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Nice. Those are
Yeah.
tasty.
Yeah. But yeah, I like this one. It's a lot. Yeah. Just
Oh,
a little
a lot.
bit of hop, a nice little lemon lime kick. No like sweetness at all. It's great.
Nice. Right on.
Yeah.
All right.
And a
Well,
faux hat too.
there you go. Well, we've got a lot to get to, so let's get rolling. Hopefully, we won't have another one of our 2-hour episodes, but you never know.
Never know. And
all right.
overtime hockey's going on right now. So
Oh, did the Bruins go to overtime?
Yeah.
I know they tied it.
Yeah.
Currently watching the Avs. All right. So, as you may know, out there in squad land, the NFL draft is tomorrow.
what?
Squad land.
No, that can't be a thing.
All right. Squad Goon Nation. Squad Nation.
I'm pretty sure that already is a thing.
Squad Nation or
Which
Goon
one?
Nation?
Squad Nation?
I don't know.
I'm so confused.
That's fine.
Goons. Can we just call
Is it
everyone
Goon
the
Squad?
Goon Squad?
Yeah, the Goon Squad.
Yeah.
As
why
the
you
Goon-
gotta break
It's
away
gotta be
from
like a name for like the thing in addition to the thing. So,
the Goon Squad?
as you may or may not know, the NFL draft is tomorrow. Denver
Whoever that
doesn't.
is.
That's Marcus. Hey, Marcus, what's going on?
Hi, Marcus.
Denver doesn't have a pick, but that doesn't mean, at least not tomorrow. They got 2 in the 3rd round.
Not unless something
So
wild
they'll be
happens
picking-
now.
Yeah, right. Something real wild. No, I don't think it's gonna. However, we are going to have a couple of draft bits tonight, and the first one, the Goons are doing a fantasy draft where we are selecting the all-time draft busts. non-quarterback
No
edition because
quarterbacks. That's what
no quarterbacks, right? Because that would make it easy.
it was.
I mean,
Still
it's
pretty easy, but yes.
yeah, I got a little creative, but it's fine. Yeah, so quarterbacks. I mean, right? It's Jamarcus, it's Ryan Leaf, and it's probably Akili Smith, right? I mean, I think all of us would have two of the three, if not all three.
Yeah, that's
in terms of
pretty true.
right. All right. So we pulled quarterbacks out of the mix, and the Goons are going to do a fantasy draft for their top three. I am going to go first.
Okay.
I struggled with one. This probably could be my third pick because I don't think either one of you guys are going to do it, but I want to get it on the board and say screw it. This isn't just a draft bust. This is no quarterbacks.
Yes,
No quarterbacks.
Marcus, pay attention.
Probably is a
Catch
top
up,
10 worst
fucking Goodrich,
pick,
you
but
son of
no,
a...
no quarterbacks.
God
I
damn
love
rookies.
you fucking asshole.
He'd be a worst pick
Right.
in both the CFL and XFL.
Once a rookie, always a rookie. Are we pulling that
Yeah,
out here?
yeah, he's a rook.
I thought we were done with that.
No, we're never done with that.
Okay.
Yeah, for those of you who couldn't see it, fellow Goon member Marcus said Paxton Lynch right after we said no quarterback. So well done. It's a good job by you paying attention. So this isn't just a first round bust. This is a pair of them. In 2020, the Las Vegas Raiders selected two guys.
Oh, God.
They picked Henry Ruggs at number 12 and Damon Arnett at number 19. Fast forward to 2022, and both of them are out of the league for different reasons.
And one's probably still in jail.
I think
He's still fighting it technically.
Yeah, he's
They're
still
on, like,
going
the
through the court
sixth
process.
level of
but-
appeals at this point.
Yeah, the judge moved the court date again. If you don't know, Henry Ruggs was involved in a DUI accident that killed somebody racing in Vegas. And Damon Arnett was on whatever it's called on Twitter Live, flashing guns and making death threats against somebody and was instantly like terminated.
Guns he apparently did not have licenses for.
Right. Yeah, that was the other part. Just guns. I have guns. It's fine. It's Vegas. So, I because it's the two of them, because they're both the first round, and it's the same year. I give you Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett, the biggest non-quarterback bust of all time.
I had Henry Ruggs on my short list also. So yeah,
Did you?
Yeah, that one, both of those guys for different reasons on the list, but neither one of them made mine.
Yep. All right, Tank, you are up. Who is your first?
I'm gonna go with Lawrence Phillips, running back for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Hugely touted prospect. They traded away Jerome Bettis to make way for him. And then he was out of the league and in jail very shortly after.
And that man's still in jail.
31 years, I believe, is what he ended up getting.
In prison. Yeah, he's in prison.
So
got like 20 games with LA. They kicked him to the curb. Short stint with the Niners and the Dolphins. It just didn't stick.
yeah,
What?
We were going to have a game 6.
Oh,
The fucking Bruins fucked it up.
wow. All right. Fun.
yeah.
We're gonna have a game
Panthers.
6. We're going to be in Boston around that same time. I wonder if the game's going to be because this one was in Boston. So game 6 is going to be
Game 6 is in Florida.
yeah. So never mind.
All right.
Sorry,
All right, Mark, you're up.
I didn't mean to hijack that. I was just live updating.
Oh, that's good. Live update's fine.
So my first one I'm going to go with, I'm going to take Deion Jordan. He was 3rd overall by the Miami Dolphins in 2013. I don't think he started a game. I don't think he started a game.
Either.
Mm-mm.
And I know he's not playing football anymore. I know that was a while ago, but he didn't play much football.
No,
So
he was not. He was not good at the football.
somebody thought he was.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I don't think they are, but
Yeah. So yeah, Deion Jordan.
all right. So round one recap: Arnett and Ruggs, Lawrence Phillips, and Deion Jordan off the board. My next selection in 1989 with the second pick of the draft, the Green Bay Packers selected Tony Mandarich,
That's a good
who
one.
was called at the time the Incredible Bulk as a left tackle. Slid into substance abuse and alcohol issues and was out of the league by 1991. Yeah, see ya, buddy. That didn't end well. And I think he was two picks before. No, he 2 picks after that. The Lions picked Barry Sanders.
That hurts.
Yeah,
That hurts.
that's unfortunate.
I mean, though,
Yeah.
you can go through all those drafts and be like,
Sure.
you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like, but it's always funny to see the coincidental bits.
Right. Well, and that one is, Barry Sanders is the best football player I have ever seen.
Yeah.
The man was otherworldly
Yeah.
in terms of his talent. So that's not just generational. That's an all-timer.
Yeah.
All right, Tank, who you got?
Top football player who never won a
Mhm.
I was going to call it a World Series, but we can't have that in the U.S. anymore. So
Tank, who you got? Second round.
Yeah, this one was kind of difficult. But I think I'm gonna go with Charles Benjamin Rogers for the Detroit Lions.
Charles Rogers.
Charles Rogers. Yeah.
Ended up playing a grand total of 15 games in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not good.
And
Not good at
unfortunately
all.
died
No.
very young.
Yeah. No, that was a tragic story. He also had substance abuse issues.
Mhm. Yeah, just highly touted superstar wide receiver from Michigan State and just went nowhere once he got to Detroit.
Yeah. And that was part of that stretch of 3 straight first round wide receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think only one of them panned out.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, he was pretty good, but
Calvin
only one of
Johnson.
them panned out.
The one who retired early.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Hey, he's
Also-
second Detroit player to retire early just because he was tired of playing in Detroit.
Yeah.
Right. Both of them all-time talents.
Uh-huh. Megatron was kind of special.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a bit. Just a bit. All right, Mark, who's your number 2?
Also keeping it recent. I did mostly, the last 20 years on mine. D. Milner.
That's a good one.
Drafted number 9th
Yeah.
overall by the New York Jets in 2013. Was hurt a month before he got drafted, and the Jets went ahead and took the chance on him anyways. And the dude just could not stay on the field. He was just he was a mess of shoulders and feet. So after his rookie season, I think he played in 5 total more games. So
Oof.
D. Milner. Oof.
Yeah. I looked at a bunch of different. I threw some out because of injuries. That one I think is really good, right? He was hurt before they even picked him. I looked at like the Kajana Carters of the world. And I'm like, God, he was really good. It wasn't his fault. He blew an ACL and couldn't
Right.
play anymore. Right. That happened in a game, but yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one for sure. All right. So we've got Mandarich, Charles Rogers, and D. Milner. Well done, fellas. All right, last one. The year before Mr. Milner was selected, with the 3rd pick overall, I threw this guy on the list because not only was he a first-round bust, but then he was traded for a first-round pick, and it was a bust for the team that he went to.
The freight train.
Trent Richardson from Alabama.
Yeah, I
was
thought about
lost.
that one.
Yeah. I mean,
That screwed 2
Two
teams.
number 1. Yeah, 2 number 1s. and just couldn't do it for either one of them. Just couldn't get through the line of scrimmage. Just didn't have it. Just couldn't.
Also
play.
had trouble. Didn't he go to the XFL
Probably.
and had some trouble there too? I think.
Yeah. Yeah. He had an okay rookie season, but after that.
Oh, he fell apart immediately. Yeah.
Right. All right, Tank, who you got?
All right, last one for me. I'm going to go with the man, Vernon Golston. Was supposed to be a superstar defensive end from Ohio State. Lasted 3 years and got exactly 0 sacks as a defensive end.
That's not
and
very
played
good.
in 45 games and got 0 sacks.
Jesus.
I mean, to have the athletic ability to even get that far and then post a goose egg
Yep.
in a position where it's designed for you not to post goose eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's next level incompetence.
He had 1 QB hit in 3 years as a defensive end.
That's not good.
And for a Jets
That's not good
defense,
at
that was
all.
actually pretty decent because that was 08 through 2010.
Yeah, wasn't old Can't Wait on that
Yep.
team?
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Old Bart
Mhm.
Scott. Revis.
Yeah,
I believe,
Revis Island was on
for
that
a bit.
team.
Yeah.
So he had a good
Yeah, he-
team around him. He just did not do anything.
No, that's awful. All right, Mark, who's your last pick?
Okay, so one of mine. So I'm gonna go with a. We have to kind of mention this in the realm of stupidest things in the NFL, but it's not really a draft pick. It's several. What the Vikings would have gotten for Herschel Walker.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah.
Every single pick is a bust for the Vikings.
Yeah. That was miserable.
Do you have the list?
I do have it in front of me. So the Vikings got Herschel Walker and 4 draft picks. Not one of them you've heard of.
Oh yeah, no, none of them.
Mike Jones, not that Mike
Yeah, not
Jones.
that one.
Reggie Thornton, Pat Newman, and Jake Reed. Who?
Right.
The Cowboys received. Let's start with the players that were currently on the roster. Jesse Solomon, David Howard, Isaac Holt, Darren Nelson, who was then traded, Alex Stewart, who nobody's ever heard of, Minnesota's first-round draft pick in 1990, Emmitt Smith.
The leading rusher in NFL history.
Minnesota's second-round pick in 1990, Alexander Wright, who was a pretty good player for them. Minnesota's 6th-round draft pick, who got traded to New Orleans, it was James Williams. Minnesota's 1991 first-round pick, 2 seconds and a third, and first-round draft pick in 1993. The 4 players in 91. Alvin Harper.
Good receiver.
Dixon Edwards. Darren Woodson.
I forgot about that.
And then they traded the 3rd round in New England, who drafted Kevin Turner. The 1st round in 1993 was actually traded to the Eagles. So they traded a bunch of other draft picks away. But on that list, you got Isaac Holt, Jesse Solomon, who are key players for them. David Howard was there forever. Emmitt Smith, who is one of the greatest running backs of all time. Alvin Harper, Dixon Edwards, and Darren Woodson.
Darren Woodson. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's 2, if not 3 Hall of Fame. I know of 2, maybe 3 Hall of Famers. Alvin Harper might be a Hall of Famer too.
I don't think that he is. I think he's a Hall of Very.
Yeah, I don't think he ended up getting the jacket, but he's close.
Yeah.
So that was my number one.
If nothing else, you could have erased all of it. Herschel Walker for Emmitt Smith.
Right.
But they didn't want to do that. And they also talked about trading. I was reading up on this because I just thought it was fucking interesting. They were also talking about trading Michael Irvin to the Raiders. Because I mean that would be Al Davis's boy, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
but Al didn't want to give up as much as
Old scissors. Yeah.
when they started offering things to Cleveland, and then Cleveland and Minnesota had a bidding war.
Still one of the wildest stories ever in NFL history. An active player
so
stabbed one of his teammates in the neck with a pair of scissors. While on probation for cocaine.
Right. I actually worked with someone years ago who worked at the quote unquote White House in Dallas at the hotel. And yeah.
Had some interesting stories, I'm guessing.
Whatever the stories you heard about the White House, plus it up by 1,000.
Deep enough, yeah.
No.
Do I know this person?
No, you do not.
Okay.
You do not.
But that is a good call. That is one of the worst whiffs. In,
Not bad for no research on vacation mode, huh?
That's pretty good. You do. Well, I know you read the agenda because you actually added something to it, so you had to have opened it. So that's
I cheated and looked at it last night.
That's a plus for you. All right, so we've got Trent Richardson, Vernon Golston, and the Vikings trading away Herschel Walker. This is a good list, guys. I mean, without having any quarterbacks on this thing, Arnett Ruggs, Tony Vandrich, Trent Phillips, Charles Rogers, Vernon Golston, Deion Jordan, D. Milner, and the Vikings.
Good variety, actually.
Yeah, that's really good. It's a strong effort.
Yeah, that was good.
Ah, nice. All right, let's move on to other stuff. If you have not been paying attention, the Nuggets closed out the Minnesota Timber Puppies in amazing fashion. Last two games were hard fought, but Nuggets lost one and closed the other one out.
Girl, Sandy dog.
And now are looking forward to playing the Suns on Saturday. Suns and 4 guy. We're coming for you, buddy.
Suns and 4 people.
Yeah. Hell with the Suns. All right. So looking ahead here, Mark, what in terms of actually, let's look back first. Break the series down. What was the deciding factor, and how are the Nuggets able to gentlemanly sweep the Timber Puppies out of the playoffs?
Because the Minnesota Timberwolves are not a good team. That's why they were in the seed that they're at playing the Nuggets. And the Nuggets let them get a win because they were toying around them like a large cat with a very small reptile. And that's how it worked. So what they did was they played basketball better than the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's what they did.
Incredibly insightful. Tank, what do you got?
Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray took over the series and just was relentless. The second team showed up when they needed to and did a lot of background work, and then the soon-to-be 3-time MVP did what he always does. Triple doubles. There you go.
And that last triple double was about as inefficient a game as I've ever seen Joker play. There's guys in the league that can, score 30 points every night, but they got to shoot 400 times to do it. And that was the kind of game that Joker played last night. He just lots of shots. You're right. Jamal was otherworldly at times in this
dominated
series.
The whole series.
And I think we can put Bubble Murray to bed and just say it's Jamal.
Yeah.
That's who he is. That's what he does. He is fully back.
I don't think the Timberwolves are as terrible as Mark seems to think that they are. They have some good pieces. If they get some better supporting cast, Edwards and Towns could be a dynamic duo for a while here.
I think Towns is gone.
I don't know.
I think they trade him to build around Edwards.
Well, Edwards is the better player for sure.
Towns doesn't want the ball at the end of the game. I mean, he's not a gamer. He's a big guy that's talented and athletic, but I don't see the killer instinct of a great. He's just a good.
Yeah, I can see that. But I think they have enough decent talent to, I think, potentially be dangerous if they get some more pieces. Especially with
Yeah, they do.
Edwards. Edwards by himself is really a game-changing kind of a player. So
That guy's the
Yeah.
real deal, man. I didn't know much about him. I hadn't watched a whole lot of Minnesota basketball, and he was on
yeah,
another
Edwards,
level.
I think he averaged 31 points for the series, something like that.
Yeah. Now he may have gotten himself into a little bit of trouble at the end.
A
After
little
the
bit.
game.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah.
2 charges of third-degree misdemeanor is the official
Yeah.
police report that the 2 ladies filed.
He threw a chair
Yeah.
in anger and hit people.
He got mad, throw stuff, now in trouble.
Well, that and that's kind of par for the course for Minnesota. I mean, they get mad and punch each other.
That's
I
true.
mean,
Although
favorite-
anytime Rudy Gobert gets hit, I agree with it.
My
So-
favorite part of this story so far is that Minnesota was pulling out of Ballerina. The Timberwolves were on the bus pulling out when the police stopped them to give him that citation. They were leaving. They didn't
like
realize
Lord
it was a
Street,
thing
yeah.
until he got served.
right?
Yeah.
Like, no,
Lord
bud.
Street.
No, bud. You got to wait for a second. We had to give you this piece of paper.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Somebody stop that van. That's my favorite bit of that whole story.
Right? That is pretty good.
It's like, no, somebody go get that guy before he gets out of here.
Right. And it looks
Can't
like
go to Cabo yet.
right. Those 2 ladies aren't seriously hurt, thankfully, but still you can't throw chairs.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah, looking ahead, Tank, starting with you, the Suns are coming up. How do you see this one going, bud?
I think if the Nuggets play like they did during this series, they have the backcourt help, they have the defensive help. I think they can do something here. Obviously, they're going to have to worry about Durant. That's going to always be a pain in the ass because that guy is a damn magician with a basketball. So, but if they can not necessarily slow him down, because I think that's going to be difficult, but also, take DeAndre Ayton out of the game, take Mitchell out of the game, try and slow them down and just kind of let Durant exist on his own. I think they have a chance to do some work here.
Mark, what do you got?
You forgot to mention one guy that I think is kind of a X factor in this series, and that is now I forgot his name. Chris Paul. He's definitely going to be an X factor in this series. That team gels around him being the distributor to everybody else. Durant's going to get his, but this team needs Chris Paul to use his experience and get them through this. I just don't think they have the horses, fortunately, for the Nuggies.
And I just realized I said Mitchell, and I did not mean Mitchell. I meant Booker.
Yeah. We all knew what you meant.
Yeah,
I know.
I was picking up.
Just wanted to clarify for everyone
Right.
else. I actually meant Booker.
And it definitely looks like they've settled on a really solid 8-man rotation with the occasional appearance of DeAndre Jordan. Joker gets into foul trouble, but it's, as Vic Lombardi calls, the box of crayons coming off the bench, brown, and green.
I love that.
I know, it's so good.
I really do.
It's so good. Christian Brown, guys, is going to be the starting number 2 on this team. If not next year, the year after. This kid is the real deal. And I think we saw it when he didn't back down. I think it was that first game or the second game when somebody got in his face and he was like, whatever, bro, I'm right here, after he took the elbow to the face. I guess you're going to pick on the rookie, right? And he didn't back down and just said, okay, that's fine. Just looked at him and just kind of laughed. So that kid's got a good mindset. He can play, he can shoot, good defender, good rebounder. So he's definitely, I think, got a place on this team in the future.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
100% agree.
All right. What do you guys think is the most interesting series that's not the Nuggets? Either going on right now, just finishing up, maybe coming. What are you guys really interested in watching? Mark, start with you. I can't hear you.
Basketball.
Yes.
Yes, basketball. You want to watch?
I don't know, man. These middle of the road series are just they're hard for me to watch. I will watch all of the basketball, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's good basketball. The conference finals is where things start to get real interesting. But until then, it's kind of boring to watch. You know what's going to happen. You know, it's not scripted, but these teams, there's a difference in talent in these teams.
Tank, what say you?
The only one I'm paying attention to at this point is the Warriors and Kings. And the only reason I'm paying attention to it is because the Warriors are looking fatigued already. And the Kings are keeping pace with them, which I shouldn't be a thing, to be honest. But there's a real chance that the Kings pull this series out. And knock off the last year's
I'd be fucking fine with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Kings don't scare me at all.
Yeah. The one I'm kind of watching, and it's only because of two people. The Memphis Lakers series is just because of Dylan Brooks and LeBron.
It's so funny.
These two guys, it's like one is an all-time talent, right? And is playing out of his mind at 38. Like, all the credit to this guy. Comes in, does his thing, put up 20 and 20. I mean, at 38. Come on, that's just
it's absurd.
Absurd.
I have trouble getting up in the morning, and I'm a year younger or a year older than he is.
Right. And then you've got Dylan Brooks is like, I don't respect you unless you put 40 on me. It's like, what are you talking
Why are you challenging him to do that? How about that?
Like, why would you poke the bear?
Yeah, why are you challenging him to do it just because he can? Because now he's gonna do it. You know,
Now it's gonna happen. Yeah, absolutely.
It reminds me of one of my favorite stories about Larry Bird when they were playing the Pistons, and they all come off warm-ups, and Bird comes over to Tom and says, "Who's guarding me?" It's like, "Oh, Lambeer. You're putting the white guy on me?"
He was all upset because
why are you putting the white guy on me? That's disrespectful.
So Bird goes out and drops 38. It's like,
I liked my favorite Larry Bird one was when he told the team he was only going to shoot the team he was playing against that he was only going to shoot left-handed and hit like 7 threes in the game.
Yeah,
all left-handed.
Points,
it scored like 40 or 48 points. It was ridiculous. And he told him he was going to do it.
Yeah. When he was the coach of the Pacers, they were calling him out for being old and not having anything. So he goes out into practice, and I don't remember who the player was, but he was a decent player at the time. He told him every move that he was going to do before he did it. And in practice, in like 20 minutes, landed like 15 or 20 buckets. Like, I'm going to go to the right, go back to the left, and then hook shot. The guy couldn't
50-year-old Larry Bird just schooling these 20-year-old kids.
Yeah, right. Oh, so good.
He was low key one of the best trash talkers though, because
one of the best. Yeah,
absolutely.
Just run his mouth nonstop and then do exactly what he said he was going to.
The stories are legendary. I love listening to Scott Hastings tell stories because he sat on the bench behind with him a lot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they played each other a lot for sure.
A lot.
And I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but over the weekend there were more nut shots in NBA basketball than I have seen.
I was laughing hysterically because sometimes I look at things, sometimes I completely fucking miss sometimes I miss this. I didn't see this part. Just the question mark got me. Like, rash of nut shots over the weekend.
Yeah. Two of them in one game. I mean, Embiid throws a leg from below and grazes a guy. And then later on, Harden throws a backwards hand, nut shots a guy. And then I don't remember the other game, but somebody else got a nut shot on Sunday. Like, why are we giving everyone the okie doke? I mean, how is this a thing? Can we not? That hurts to watch.
Agreed.
Right.
That's funny.
I just wanted to touch on that. That was fun. All right, let's move on to NHL hockey and current Avs update. They're in the intermission of between the first and second period, and it's 0-0. Currently, the series is tied 2-2, and the Avs are really coming into this one shorthanded. And I'm not sure which one's the bigger news. So we'll just start with Makar getting the suspension for the hit in the last game. React to the decision and the impact it's going to have on the team.
Well, thankfully it was only one game, so the only impact will be hopefully tonight. But the impact is huge because we're already running low on defense. Then we can't really afford to have our current best defender not be playing, especially for a shot that, while questionable because it is playoff hockey, was unnecessary in the situation. And then for him to catch the suspension but not for it to swing the other way is very unfortunate for the Avalanche and very timely for the Kraken. So we'll see how that plays out.
Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Tank. Makar is, that it looked like a relatively clean hit, and obviously he was not intending to injure the guy, but it was way away from the play. It didn't need to happen. And then he gets booed for the rest of the game. I don't know if you caught that, but he said something about the boos in the press conference afterwards. So clearly that's bugging him because he said he had dreams about getting booed. I mean, that and then sitting out in a crucial game 5, this could mess with the kid's head. He hasn't been playing professional hockey for that long, and this is some shit. If he loses, it's kind of his fault. The next guy we're going to talk about, but he probably will internalize that and think that it's all his fault. I mean, I didn't see the whole lineup for the day, but Jack Johnson's back on the team, I'm sure. And who knows if Dermy got in, I don't know if Dermy got some playing time, but it's unfortunately timed, but it didn't need to happen. Unfortunately in hockey, when these hits happen that take people out for an extended amount of time, the NHL tends to go eye for an eye on it. So as soon as I realized he was out for the game and maybe longer, I knew he was going to get at least a game suspension. And that was when the game was still going. So I was not surprised. I was glad it was only one game.
I don't see Dermy on the active list. So
thank fucking Christ, that man can't. The three of us can skate better than him.
No, that's not true. He can absolutely skate better than us.
Have you seen the man skate? It's not pretty.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right, but he's not pretty.
Still probably better than us.
Yeah, still probably better.
No, you're absolutely correct, but it's still fucking not good to look at.
He does have a game-winning goal this year, so
which is wild.
Even so crazy to me.
I know. I love.
It makes zero sense.
I know.
Fucking Dermy.
Right. Fucking Dermy. Yeah. I'm having a hard time reconciling the suspension here when they didn't even give Dunba a hearing for his hit on Pavelski. At kind of the same thing, not in the same area of the ice, but it was late. Pavelski went out too. They didn't do that whole eye for an eye thing. I think that's what this was, because by all accounts, and this is Makar's the same kid who drew a penalty and then went to the ref and said, no, he didn't do that. That's not a penalty. And the ref's like, okay, that's not a penalty. So
yeah,
he
doesn't have a history of it.
No, he's got zero history. And so this was definitely an eye for an eye. And it's unfortunate. And hopefully they can play through this game, because they're also missing a big offensive punch. Friday, and this story is still developing, and nobody really knows what's going on, but Val Nichushkin left with team security, left the team hotel in Seattle, and reportedly flew to Russia. And Bednar has come out and said he's not coming back this series. As a matter of fact, the words he used, I think it was this morning or yesterday morning, was it would be unbelievable if he came back for this series. Mm-hmm. It's being called a personal issue. No one really knows, right?
I think there's people that know.
Well, there's definitely people that know.
This is
right?
the craziest like fucking secret agent shit. Like I have never seen something like this happen in a playoff series of professional sports magnitude and kept this quiet for this long. It's been almost a week since this thing went down.
Yeah.
And we don't know honestly where Val Nichushkin is. You know, that they know the Avalanche know where he is. And one report has him not in Russia. Everyone's reporting something different. They just all know that he's there was a press conference today, and he had 3 answers to Bednar about the Nichushkin thing, and one of them said, "Is this a legal issue?" And he said, "No." That was his response, was the word "no."
Well,
So-
yeah, and then immediately, well, not immediately, but fairly close to him leaving, reports came out that it was alcohol related, but that was basically shot down immediately.
Right. And
Well,
those
and
reports are
that's-
still cycling,
Right,
just
but that's
because
one
it's
guy.
sexy.
That's one
and
guy.
it's also the sexy story. So
Right.
I think there's a lot more to the fact that maybe somebody, drafted him to service, and that was one of the things he could
That
have
was a
gotten
rumor.
drafted to
Yeah.
service by the Russians and had to go,
That'd be wild if that's why.
or something's happening with his wife/girlfriend in Russia, like
Right.
there could be something going on. Russia is a fucking third world country at this point, and they do some crazy things, have been since the 20s.
Right.
And they're in the
Yeah.
middle of an actual civil war.
Correct.
Right.
And they're actively
Correct.
secret policing people off of the streets who are talking about what's happening. So
That's correct. So I'm scared for him. I'm hopeful that he's okay. Kale McCarr said, not Kale, Nate McKinnon said it the other day, there's bigger things in hockey. And that was his quote on the whole situation, was there's obviously bigger things than hockey.
Right.
So hopefully he's all right.
And Tank,
that's all we
Mark,
can hope for is that he's okay.
yeah, Mark touched on it, Tank. There's this report coming out that it was alcohol related. It was being pushed by one guy, this Frank Savellini, from the Daily Face Off, and everyone's carrying that.
And he's getting a lot of play off of it himself. He's been on the radio all fucking day.
Yeah. Right. But the thing I think that's important to talk about, when he actually broke it, he said several things that lead me to believe that he's just making shit up. One, he said, "This is based on the reporting that I've done." Well, bro, you're reporting it now. Yeah. So this is not you reporting anything. And he says, "It's my sense, and this is unconfirmed, that it's alcohol related." All of that is just conjecture
off the top of his head.
Also, this dude's in Canada and nowhere near Seattle or Denver or Russia. How he's not standing in the room with Val Nichushkin, but he's clearly the go-to guy in this situation because he's pulling shit out of his ass.
Well, and immediately after, who was it? Gandler, Nichushkin's agent, immediately said, "No, that's nothing to do with anything like that." It's like, I'm not going to say what's going on because I'm not allowed to, but it's not alcohol related.
Yeah, and there were reports that someone else got taken to the hospital.
It's a fucking hotel.
Yeah, but that was unconfirmed.
In Seattle.
I know, right?
I'm surprised more chicks don't go to fucking hospitals and shit.
Yeah.
Who cares? I mean, I'm sad for her if it happened, but like that has nothing to do with
those
it.
are not
regular hotel shit.
Right.
Yeah, seemingly those are not connected issues with the random female going to the hospital.
Right. Which is also unconfirmed. Yeah. And the funny thing is, if there was something that happened at the hotel, there's not a single person who works at that hotel who said,
which is wild.
Like,
if that's the case.
The whole thing is wild. Like this is the tightest kept secret in sports history. This whole thing is just fucking wild.
Yeah.
How little information there actually is.
Right. And it's kind of on brand. Like the Avalanche are historically a very tight-lipped organization. Hockey in itself is a tight-lipped, but the Avalanche don't tell anybody anything, even by hockey standards. When they put Landeskog out there and talked about the cut he got and how that affected him 3 years later, and that's why he's not playing because of all the issues with his knee. That was uncharacteristically transparent. Yeah. So between you put that against what's happening with Val, and it's like, wow, like Mark's right. You're spot on. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
We've had guys disappear at the Super Bowl. We've had, fucking issues with World Series games and guys going missing before and or after
the Super Bowl.
Yeah, going to fucking Mexico, just fucking out of your brain on cocaine, getting caught with a prostitute after being named the NFL's Man of the year the night before the
old Leroy Butler.
Like, crazy shit has happened, but it's always come out. Like even the talk about Michael Irvin again, the Michael Irvin stuff from last year that he's still dealing with, which is a non-story, but unfortunately because he's a figure, this is a story for him. I don't think I think he's on the right of it, but that's not. It's just so much shit happens, and there's so many reporters and stuff at these events. It's hard to imagine how this has been kept so undercover. It's just crazy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And, hopefully when we circle back in a couple of weeks, we might have some more details to share. But until then, and Mark said it, obviously we hope that Val is okay, that everyone attached to Val is okay, that there's, not anything severe happening, and whatever it is, that he gets through it and comes back to doing what he loves and playing hockey. So,
and also we've been talking about a lot of unconfirmed reports. Breaking, not really breaking news, but I am here to report it has been confirmed that I am officially on my honeymoon.
Oh. Awesome.
All right. Well, we touched a little bit on
Shake your head at me, Ted.
Panthers.
I'll come over there.
No, you won't.
The Panthers, and you will do
not tonight.
thing.
I don't care that much.
Paper tiger. So we touched a little bit on the Panthers and the Bruins. We almost had another goalie fight, guys, and it was a goalie on a skater.
That's so funny.
All Mark wanted that smoke from Chuck.
This is stupid as shit.
So stupid.
I know.
Oh my god.
And I think the best part of it is Linus. Allmark has a nickname I didn't know. They call him Big Penis Linus. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's on brand. Good job.
Those hockey nicknames, they really roll off the tongue.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. Usually it's, like Mac and Shorzy.
And they just throw an E at the end of
and
everything.
Moose.
Yeah.
It's E. Yeah. Marky. Tanky. Nope. Big Penis Linus. It's like a Monty Python sketch. What's wrong with the name? Biggest dickus.
Incontinentia.
Incontinentia buttocks.
Big Penis Linus.
Yeah. It doesn't even rhyme.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, maybe we'll get a goalie fight someday. Anyway, that's all we got for hockey. Let's move on to some degeneracy. Yes, the Goons have selected some bets. We're going to share them with you and see if anything works. I don't know. Who knows? Not me. I'm bad at this. So
MGM sponsor us.
Yeah, MGM, because that's where I pull my odds from. That's for dang sure.
That's where I got my numbers for tonight. So,
Fucking right. That's where we all got our numbers from.
All right, Mark, what do you got?
Hi. My name's Mark. I work here. Let me get you the food menu. I have gone completely fucking degenerate tonight, and I am betting on tomorrow's getaway game in Philadelphia, the Seattle Mariners versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Give me the Mariners at -1.5 because on the money line they're catching 155, and give me the under at 8. If that's not fucking degenerate, then I'm betting on Thursday day baseball.
Right, that's
the name of the bit, baby. Gotta go degenerate.
All right.
Reminds me of early pandemic and people started betting on Japanese baseball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As soon as they started
Ping
playing
pong,
again.
people were betting. Yeah, the Korean
Frank,
baseball shit.
I did that.
Oh,
I was one of those people.
as soon as sports were back, it's like we're gonna start betting on this.
Footy.
I
Never
did
watched
that.
the game.
Australian football.
Tennis too. Tennis was a big one.
Yeah. I was watching footy just so I could
Yeah,
get some
yeah.
football in my life. And if you've never watched Australian
It's
rules
great.
football, it is insane
It is so
chaos.
good.
That's like rugby, basketball, football, ultimate frisbee all mixed up together on a round or an oval field with 8 total goalposts. Right? Good God, people were betting.
Oh,
that
Bundesliga.
shit.
I was betting soccer. So
Yeah, Bundesliga was a good one too. I had
Oh,
like
yeah.
a rolling $20
Yeah.
in my MGM account at that point. It was just fucking just whatever it was. I just kept it at $20 and just betted the stupidest
this
shit I
looks
could
interesting
find.
to bet on. Yeah, this is
Yeah. I'll wake up because this takes place at 2:00 in the morning, my time, but I'll wake up and have either $5 less or $10 more.
yeah, I've never watched German soccer
Right.
before. Let me go ahead and bet on it.
Bundesliga.
Bundesliga. All right. Tank, what do you got?
Well, I went a little different. I went for the first matchup between the Nuggets and Suns, and I took a little 6-piece parlay. About a plus 8,000. And it's I put Jokic at 25.5 points.
At 25.5?
They
Or
have
the
get
over?
a minimum.
Okay.
That's his. Yeah, I took the 25.5, 12.5 rebounds, 8.5 assists.
Jesus.
Durant at 27.5. I took the Nuggets to cover the 2.5 point spread, and I took the over on points, which was 225. So
That
if it
is
hits, that's $800.
that is a lot of ifs, sir.
Oh yeah, but that's the fun of it sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the line on the total over? 230 and a half or 230?
225 is what I got.
225. Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah, it's a
I
plus
put a-
8,000 parlay.
Jesus. Yeah, right. I put a 3-leg parlay together. I actually had to I had to plug it into a odds generator because MGM wouldn't let me bet this as a same game parlay. Yet, as we get closer, they may open that up, right? Seattle just scored. So there you go. There's a
Unfortunate.
yeah. And yeah, Marcus Goodrich just said shit, which means you're watching a Marcus, turn it off, your bad luck. All right, so I have Joker rebounds plus assists at over 21 and a half.
Yeah, it's a good number.
Yep. Jamal going over 22 and a half points. And this is about as degenerate as it gets. I bet the range of the point total. So I bet at plus 260 that the point total is going to be between 221 and 230.
That's an interesting little window you picked up there.
Right. I mean, there are a whole bunch of them, right? You can do a whole mess of them. But I actually looked at the scores
alternate
for
spreads,
the year.
yeah.
I have thought about betting
Yeah.
that like 150 times. I've never actually done it.
I've done an alternate spread twice. I lost both times.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. It looks like so
Right.
much fun, but so
Right.
chaotic.
Right. I bet I picked this range because one was exactly in it. The one was over, one was under, and one was way over, but it was an overtime game. So I threw that one out and averaged. I'm like, yeah, it's right there. And then I looked at the line at 25 or 225. I'm like, well,
Right
that's
in
right
the
in the middle.
middle,
So, yep. 221 to 230. I plugged that into some free odds generator, and it was plus
That's not too
1,046.
bad.
So, you're right.
That's a good little.
That's if they let me do it. So.
Probably once it opens up, it'll be available. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, right. All right. That's enough degeneracy. That was some good shit, though, guys.
There was
Hey,
nothing
Mark.
there was nothing typical about that.
No, absolutely not.
Hey, man,
I'm
like
moving
those
on
weird
to
ones.
Hobby Refresher.
Right. Sponsor us, Lagunitas. Hey, so while you're wetting your whistle, I understand you went and saw a movie.
Oh, fuck yeah. So let me start off by saying same goons, wrong cast. So I will not be here next week. It sounds like nobody's going to be here next week for the thing. But I will not be here next week for Nerds, but I definitely wanted to get in a shot. We are also on the podcast Nerds That Know, which is opposite of us, except for next week. Unless Tank decides to do a one-man show.
Do a solo, yeah.
Which would be interesting. We're not bringing Uncle Daddy on the air.
No,
so
no Uncle
please
Daddy.
don't Uncle Daddy us, please. Anyways, Tank, we saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. It was everything that I thought it would be and more. I actually really fucking enjoyed this movie.
Oh yeah.
This was Frank and I were talking about it. I think this was the best film adaptation of a video game maybe ever. Just the number of shots that they threw in. The only thing that I would have said is I wanted a little bit more Yoshi.
There's not very much Yoshi, but the Yoshi we did get was funny.
Yeah. The soundtrack is unbelievable.
Oh,
every fucking Mario song that you can think of from all the games, including all the Mario Karts, Donkey Kong Country, fucking Donkey Kong Racer, all the shit, man. The references, the character actors I thought were actually pretty fucking good. The way they explained away the accents at the beginning of the movie was really well done. So 1-1.
Shot score.
I'm waiting to see it. Yeah, there it is. 1-1.
There it is. 1-1.
Nice.
Fucking Sarah. God damn it, Sarah. This is for all those shots at the Rockies, huh?
Right. Yeah. You just ruined it for Mark. He's like, oh, did we tie it? Hold on. I got to watch it. God damn it, Sarah.
It's for all the shots I take at the Rockies. Okay. So, yeah, but Tank, I think you and I were in agreement on this one. I thought this was fucking a really, really good movie.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic.
Everything I wanted it to be.
Surpassed what all of obviously there's a lot of naysayers coming into this, especially apparently for Chris Pratt's involvement. I'm thinking that's mostly off-screen issues that people have with Chris Pratt.
Yes.
But he did a fantastic job as Mario.
Yeah. And
Charlie Day as Chicken Shit Luigi was fantastic.
So good. Toad was amazing.
Seth Rogen
as Donkey Kong. Oh my God. I swear to God, they paid him just to do the laugh and synchronize it with Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and it fit in perfectly.
It was so good. And the Diddy Kong reference was amazing. Fucking Jack Black as Bowser was unfucking believably good. He sings the song, all Jack blacked out. Oh my God, it's so good.
He gets 2 songs in. I think that's why he signed the yes on this movie.
And I couldn't, it was kind of a kids movie. They made it a lot for kids, but they also made it for people our age that grew up with all the shit. But the one that I thought that I was like, okay, this is kind of close to not being a kids movie thing was The Star in the jail.
Oh, the creep. Yeah, that was
the suicidal star.
Yeah.
I fucking loved the character, but I'm looking around at kids going, this is probably not okay for children to be a part of this.
Got a little dark in it.
Yeah. There's one character that's just so happy about misery, and to the point where it's getting ready to die. It's like, sweet death is coming.
Yeah, for those who, it's Lumily, who's a character from the Super Mario Galaxy games, is just hilarious. He is so nihilistic,
so funny, so funny,
so aggressively downtrodden that it's hilarious. And joyously depressed. It's so fun.
So good. But yeah, I very, very strongly recommend anybody that was a Mario fan to go see this one. It's a great adaptation, and I was a skeptic at first, but I thought it was really good.
Oh yeah, very fun.
All right, so go check
And
out
already
Mario.
Pile of money. I think they're over 850 million now. So
Oh wow,
Wow.
good, because that movie's good. I'd love to see another one. To be
already
honest.
pre-ordered it because Scarlett asked if I could.
Uh-oh.
Seattle's
Yeah,
just
I
scored.
saw that.
Yeah. It reminds me of my all-time favorite Mario joke. You know what his favorite kind of pants are? Denim.
I've heard that one a million times. I forgot about it.
I know, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh, and
So
they do have a bag of dicks reference. Yeah,
Awesome.
there's the bag of dicks. I'm sitting next to Tank going, bag of dicks is coming. Look, purple shell. Bag of dicks is coming. Purple
The
shell.
Bag
You
of
could just
dicks.
see it coming.
Bag
It's just
of
a seminal moment of Tank, bag of dicks. Look.
Tank, do you know the story about the bag of dicks? Did you explain
No, I
it
don't
to him?
think I did.
No, you didn't.
Okay, yeah, we'll share
It
that.
was funny
We'll share
either
that
way.
sometime. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
funny
the
one.
spiky turtle
That's a good
shell
one.
in Mario Kart, we've always called the bag of dicks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the
Yeah,
base
and,
is the
and when
best.
you launch it, you have to chant.
Bag
You have to
of
chant
dicks.
"bag of dicks," and it really works when you're drunk and you're doing it in your parents' basement at like 3
Getting
o'clock in the
steadily
morning
louder.
in 1999.
Bag of dicks. Bag of dicks.
Bag of
Yay!
dicks! Yay,
So when
bag
I
of
saw that
dicks!
spiky turtle shell, I was like, "Oh, here it comes." I didn't realize I hadn't told you that. That probably makes a lot more sense now.
All right. Good night, Marcus. Sue, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So,
Hi, Mama. What are you
All
doing,
right.
Sue?
let's move on to Major League Baseball and an update on the Spiders Cup. Just as a quick reminder, we track winning percentages over the course of the year and see if any of them can get to 100 losses and award them the
there are a
Spiders
few.
Cup. There are a few. Let's
There's about
start.
half a division that might hit it at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's start there. The AL Central has 2 that are under and 1 that's skating.
Yeah.
The Tigers at 391. That's one game.
Yeah.
The White Sox and the Royals are 280 and 240. So
Terrible.
Yeah. That is a rough
terrible.
division right
yeah,
now.
that's just awful. The Athletics.
The AL West
208.
isn't much better.
Well,
No.
they at least have only one, but it's 208. They're like 2 losses away from being in the ones.
Yeah, it's
Well, and then look
guaranteed.
at the American League East. Like, there's not a team under 500 right now.
Right. Yep.
Then let's go to the National League, shall
Let's
we?
go to the National League, indeed. We'll start with the NL East. There's one skating that's the Nationals. They're a game or 2 up at 391. Cardinals are a game under at 375. And the Rockies holding strong, a full 75 points below where they should be at 308. And
Yeah.
it's
Couple
not-
of things happened this week to ensure that this would continue. The man we will call Christopher, don't call me Daniel Bryant, is back on the DL. I call him don't call me Daniel because Daniel Bryant did the yes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with Chris Bryant, it's a lot of nah.
When that dude's on,
And
He
Herman
is
Marquez
amazing.
went out in the 4th inning today too. So
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
that's
Pretty
it
awesome stuff,
sucks
Rockies.
being a Rockies fan.
This is when we always say bad baseball is bad baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredibly disappointing to
Right.
enjoy.
All right.
I
and
mean,
you guys,
we're not disappointed about the Rockies, right? We expected this.
correct. Can't be
They had
disappointed.
2
when you
good
expect
games
it.
in a row. Against the Cardinals. They did. And then they just got smacked again.
Christ.
Yeah. Any other news and notes in the world of Major League Baseball, fellas? I know it's early. It's still only April. I haven't
mean,
seen anything of note.
Fucking Tampa Bay is still fucking insane, man.
And Pittsburgh.
Have they lost at home yet?
I don't believe so.
Pittsburgh's
yeah.
a surprise.
Wait,
Pittsburgh
I'm
looks
wrong.
really good somehow this year.
Tampa's 14-2 at home. They have lost 2 games.
So they have lost. Okay, I haven't.
But they're
looked at it in a
20
couple
and they're 20-5.
Yeah,
God.
800 winning percentage is just
Yeah, they're
fucking unbelievable.
dominating. They lost today against the Astros at home, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of mediocrity in baseball this year. There's not really like a bunch of teams with super hot starts. It's 1 or 2. You've got the Rays, obviously, and everyone else is just over 500-600. There's not really a whole lot of really strength. It's a lot of parity this year, with the exception of the fucking Rays, who apparently can't be beaten in baseball.
And Pittsburgh and Atlanta on the national side are doing a pretty good job. You're close to 700.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Atlanta I knew was going to be that good. Pittsburgh I'm fucking completely shocked about, because they were sellers. So I'm really shocked that they're doing this well.
When are they not? That's the thing. Like, they haven't been good in 30 years.
That's what I'm saying. It just fucking it trips me out that they're actually doing well, because I thought for sure they'd be in the cup.
Paying homage to the stadium that's actually really beautiful by finally winning in it.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about the Braves is they're 10-2 on the road.
Yeah, they're dominating
They're
on the road.
right at 500 at home at 7-6, but they're 10-2 on the road. I mean, how does that happen?
Their pitching and their defense is just unbelievable. And the fact that they play most of their games at sea level, and then get to roam around, I think that that unfortunately affects the Rockies a lot more when they're playing not at sea level and then going down to sea level. And so I think a lot of these teams that are at sea level go around to other places at sea level, and it's kind of the same. They don't have quite the disadvantage on the road that the Rockies do.
Yeah, they beat the brakes off the Marlins the last 3 games. So,
All right, well, that's enough baseball.
keep an eye on the Rockies and Athletics.
Yeah, that's going to be
Royals
a
too,
great
baby.
one.
I don't know who
Royals.
said go sit. Was that Mama Sue? Go
That was
KC
Mama
Royals?
Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really bad. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, Mama.
They're awful.
Yeah, the Royals
They're
are
fucking
garbage.
the worst.
Right.
They're not the worst yet. They're one more
really
win than
fucking
the
close.
Athletics.
They're really fucking close.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're second to worst.
All right, moving on to the National Football League. A couple of big news items that dropped in the last couple of weeks. Last week, Jalen Hurt is now the highest paid player in the history of the game. Mark, this guy got the bag.
They gave him the bag. Hi, Scarlett.
Oh, it's night time.
Oh, there it is. Hi, Scar. Hi, Jules.
Love you, baby girl.
He's-
Guys, have a good night. I'll see you in the morning, okay?
Mimi says she loves you both.
Love you too, Mimi. Is it Nerds That Know tonight?
Why are you crying?
Is it Idiot Brothers?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Idiot Brothers tonight.
Get some sleep.
Does that mean
Let's
next
go to the
Wednesday is
movies.
Nerds That Know?
Potentially.
Have a good
And
night, girl.
you can be on it with Daddy. You and Daddy. That would be great. I would actually pay to watch that.
Get the Wi-Fi package. for one day.
She's remarkably sharp. She's remarkably sharp. And that was actually credit to Lisa on that one, because she came up with that idea.
Right.
Just keep Uncle Daddy out of it.
Mm.
Yep. All right, Mark. Jalen got the bag.
Matt is totally ignoring this Uncle Daddy thing. I sandbagging the shit out of it. Yeah, Jalen got the bag. It's surprising with his injury history, but I think they do this now, so it's cheaper in the long run, which seems to be the reason why all of these quarterbacks get paid, is just pay them now, so it'll be cheaper in the long run. Still wild for me. Wild. I did not see that coming.
Dank?
Yeah.
No, neither did
Highest
I.
paid per year if he gets everything out of it, which is the 5 years, 255. That's
Yeah.
a big number, but somehow less guaranteed money than Deshaun Watson, because he's only getting 179 guaranteed.
And I think you're going to see that no one's going to get that for a while, right? That was the outlier,
Yeah, and
it should have been the outlier. The Browns were stupid.
everyone's mad at the Browns for it.
Well, yeah, because now everyone has to get their payday. I'm wondering if there's the Lamar deal happens how it happens. However, it's probably going to be pretty close on the guaranteed money. I don't know if it's going to be as high though for Jalen as Jalen's, the overall contract at least.
For a MVP.
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, agreed. All right. And the news that we've all been waiting
What?
for. Aaron Rodgers, following in the footsteps of his papa Brett Favre, is now a Green Bay.
Now
a New York.
We are now officially a set of Crocs away from a dick pic.
Right. My question is, when does Kirk Cousins' contract come up?
I think it's next
Because
year.
That's the next domino to fall. And have him go to Minnesota.
Isn't it like
Again?
2 years?
It could happen. It
Yeah.
could happen.
It could happen, right? Like it's he's not locked into a
No,
long-term
he's
deal, and
not.
he's Kirk Cousins. He's terrible. He can only play at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So I mean,
He's terrible.
So yeah, history repeats itself. Tank, does this make the New York Jets Super Bowl contenders?
I mean, yeah, I guess they were already pretty damn close. If they wouldn't have lost Breece Hall halfway through the season, they probably would have actually done some damage, in spite of the fact that they have just the most depressing roster of quarterbacks on the league. So
Collection of cardboard cutouts.
yeah, they had the mother humper, the one-time star, and the guy who somehow made a Super Bowl.
Every time somebody brings up that story, I forgot about that story, and it catches me. I'm like, oh yeah, that fucking guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. That fucking guy.
Yeah.
The mother
But
humper.
yeah, I think it does.
Not quite as good as Vanilla Vic, but the mother humper's pretty good.
They have
Yep.
a good
I'm writing
defense.
that down.
They have a great running back if he comes back to full strength, hopefully.
Yeah.
They have good up and coming receivers, especially with Garrett Wilson. So yeah, I think if he plays even like he did last year, which he's his worst year in the last 5, he was still top 5 or 6 quarterback in the league. So yeah, I mean that makes him very dangerous for sure.
And Mark, it's in a division where there's admitted weakness, right?
That's exactly where I was. Yeah,
Softball.
I know. That's exactly where I
Softball.
was
There you
going too. You look around and there's, I mean, let's take a look at the division that's around him. Let's start in New England. They don't really have a quarterback, I would think.
And they
They have a
hate their
quarterback problem. Yeah, they have a quarterback problem there. So I don't think they're going to get any better. Miami, everyone is catching up to now. And what happens with Tua? I'm not sure that they got any better this year in the offseason. And the Buffalo Bills. I mean, yeah, they're a good team and they're a constant contender, but what will they do to either make or break their team with the draft and, follow up a free agency? I don't think any of those teams are as ready to go as the Jets are.
Yeah, I agreed. The AFC East is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
The biggest issue with Buffalo, like as good as they are,
they don't have a running back.
Find something besides Josh Allen to make that team work, they're screwed because he cannot carry that team any more than he already is. So
they don't have a running back. He is the running back.
He is.
Yep. Absolutely true. All right. As we touched on before, the NFL draft is tomorrow. The Goons are going to make the big prediction. Historically, we've done the entire first round. We're just going to do the top 3 picks. So, Mark, you're shaking your head as if you're not ready.
Let me Google that shit real quick.
I will go ahead and start then with my 3. These can absolutely repeat because, we're dealing with the same group of, 4 or 5 players. I absolutely think that Carolina is going to pick Bryce Young, number one. Alabama quarterback. Yes, he's short, but smart as all get out. Kid's got everything you want from a leadership standpoint. Played against the best of the best, and played against them very well. Texas Texans do the Texans thing, and they pick CJ Stroud from
That
Ohio
dude's having a
State,
rough
which is going to
fucking week.
flame out. Yeah, that's going to flame out spectacularly because we all know how good Ohio State quarterbacks are. And finally, the Arizona Cardinals, in a move that either could be brilliant or stupid, I believe are going to draft what I think is actually the best player on the board, but he's had some question marks lately, and that's Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. Give them some pressure up the middle. They did lose some defensive line presence this year, so it's definitely a position of need. Kid's an absolute stud. He does have some legal troubles, so it may be looked upon by some pundits as a stretch, but I think that's probably where they're going to go. Tank,
I will say bravo on that Jalen Carter pick, because I actually haven't even thought about him potentially going to the Cardinals. I do think you're correct with the Panthers, though. I think Bryce Young is undoubtedly going to be going there. He actually very much is like Jalen Hurts, just seemingly plays smarter. So I think that's 100% that pick there. The Texans, I'm not sure. Everyone's leaning into the CJ Stroud thing, but the only thing I have with that is who's taking over as the head coach? Who's their new head coach? Do you think he's going to go offense or defense?
Oh, D'Amico. I don't know if it's going to be his pick, right? He's a first-time head coach. They've got an established, strong front office, as much as we like to laugh at it. Those guys have been in positions, but they've been in position for a long time, which means they've got some operational inertia and will probably pick what's best for the organization, not just for the head coach.
There's the thing, though. Is that what's best for the organization or not? I think one of two things is actually going to happen.
One,
I think the potential exists that if Lamar doesn't get his contract signed, he is a trade tomorrow to either Texans or Indy.
Okay. Two.
Second thing, I think they go Tyree Wilson. I think they get that big edge presence and become dangerous defensively again, because that is what did really well for them up until what happened with Deshaun Watson, basically. That defense did a really good job of keeping them competitive, and I think they might build off of doing that again.
All right, Mr. Big Edge Presence.
And lastly, the Cardinals. If they're smart, they go with Peter Skoronski. They need offensive line. They need to keep their little quarterback alive.
Yeah, well, he doesn't do a whole lot to help himself in that respect. So his wee little legs running all over the field. All right, Mr. Big Edge Presence.
As soon as he said it, I was like, that could have been his nickname in high school. Those jokes are like the new Your Mama jokes. You remember?
Yeah.
Everyone said, "Oh, your mom." That's what she said.
Yeah.
So that was my nickname in high school. Anyways, I went a little bit off the board on this. I forgot that we were doing this, so I put it somewhere, and now I found it again. I'm with you guys. I think that Carolina came out and said today that they're a consensus, and it's sold number one, and they all shook hands and walked out of the building happy the other day because they all knew what they wanted, and that will be Bryce Young. That just makes sense for them. Houston's gonna Houston, right? And I will do that again in the next pick, but Houston's going to Houston, right? So they're going to take a quarterback because they traded up to get this pick, right? So just as Matt said, they will be taking CJ Stroud, and it will be a spectacular failure. Speaking of spectacular failures, there are a lot of places that are saying that the Houston Texans would gladly flip-flop the third pick with the Arizona Cardinals so that they can go up and then get Will Anderson
I can see that.
from Alabama. So
Yeah.
so Arizona's really wanting to move out of that number 3 pick because there's not a quarterback for them there. Best player on the board, they can get one, but they want to get a little bit more draft capital because they realize that they are not very well stocked team. So the more draft picks you can get, the better you're going to get because you're burning this organization down and starting over. You have to. So it makes sense for them to move out of that pick and get somebody. And Houston's just dumb enough to go up and get somebody. It's Houston's just
You're flip flopping.
no.
Houston's second.
Houston, but they also have the number 12 pick. I'm suggesting
you
that
think
they
they're
go
gonna buy
up to
in?
number 3, and then they take Will Anderson Jr.
Okay, there you go. That was the missing bit. I'm like, what are you?
I
Oh
forgot
yeah,
about
no,
that.
the trade. Yeah, they're gonna trade. They're gonna trade out of the 3,
Okay,
drop down to
got
12
it.
You think
because
they're going to give them
Arizona
their?
needs
okay.
a lot of help.
They're going to give them number 12 and their second rounder to move up to
yeah,
3.
maybe 2 seconds. That
Yeah, it'll
that
probably
number
take a couple.
3 is going to be a big move, going up 9 spots, especially that early in the draft. So that's 100% to stock the cupboards. You can get a couple of really good players with a second and 2/3, or 2 seconds and a third.
Build an offensive
And
line.
you still have a first round draft pick that you weren't going to spend on somebody like a quarterback or somebody. There's not somebody you're really sold on. So just move back, get the best player available when you get to 12. You get 4 solid starters.
They can move down to 12 and get Paris Johnson.
Yeah, they could. But
Mhm.
the player that they can get is going to be there at 3 or at 12, I think. So Houston's going to move up because they're stupid.
God, that's entirely possible.
Right.
I hope
Good
what you're
call.
saying is accurate.
Wouldn't it be great?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Wouldn't that be fucking great?
Right. All right. And lastly, on terms of the draft, we all know Denver's got 5 picks. They don't start until round 3. Instead of calling out, I said, when I wrote this agenda, I said, who you're targeting for the Broncos? I think it's more what position are we targeting for the Broncos, because it's going to be impossible to know what is going to be there at 65 and 66, wherever they're at. Tank, what is your biggest position of need did you think they're going to get?
I think they have 3 positions that they need to figure out. They need offensive line help. They probably need another corner, and they need to fill in the gap on defensive line. And I think they can actually do that in the 3rd round. They can get a center. They can get a defensive lineman. They can get people in that space. I actually think they might lean in and go with Luke Weipler for a new center, and then grab one of those cornerbacks that's kind of sitting right there in that space, like a dude from TCU, Tomlinson, or Darius Rush, and fill 2 of those positions in the 3rd round.
Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go in a slightly different order, but the same top 3 as far as their needs. And offensive line is absolutely number 1. You're building an entirely new system. You've got some pieces that you've brought in via free agency. You've got some pieces that might work. Hi, Ghost of Sarah. Might work to fit in, but you don't know yet. The center depth seems to be pretty big on this one. So I think, they'll go offensive line. They need some help on defensive line just to fill in depth. Mike Purcell, I think, finishes out their depth chart, and he was a starter last year. Great guy, but getting older. So they need to get some depth there. And yeah, corner is a huge one, just because you don't know when you're going to lose a corner. There's a lot of injuries in skill positions, and you just need to get some more depth there.
You guys are spot on. I have nothing else to add.
You know, a good one for them who might be sitting there for defensive line is going to be the dude from Wisconsin, Benton.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably going to be that early third round guy that they could grab up for defensive line.
No, I haven't looked that much into it.
I have a lot of time on my hands when I'm not operating children.
Operating children.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes, they're
good.
my little minions sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Sometimes.
you're their big minion most of the time.
Yeah, usually.
All right, last but not least, we've come to the part where we scrub the interwebs, reach into the recesses of our brain, and come up with dipshits of the week. Shout out to Dipshit. We love you. Welcome home. You just got off a plane a little while ago. Welcome back. Tank, who is your dipshit of the week?
Okay, so I actually had a decent list going here, but I think the one that I have to go with is a combination of the NFL and the Detroit Lions. For the NFL suspending players for not betting on football, which is awesome. But because they bet on the confines of the Lions practice field, apparently, or in their somewhere in the confines of their offices, were making bets, and they got 5 players suspended. So that's Detroit's side of it. You know, probably shouldn't be doing that. I'm assuming they were told that at some point that they're not allowed to do that. And then also the NFL, because who fucking cares? They're not betting on football. You know. So I'd say joint Detroit Lions and NFL on this one.
Oh. Mark, what say you?
I say I'm on vacation and it's my honeymoon. I don't really have a dipshit of the week this week. I guess I'll give it to Niantic just because they're shitty game. Every time I get an update from Twitter, there's something else broken. And it's just I haven't even signed on to the game in almost 2 weeks. I'll probably sign on to it once when we're on the island, in a cafe or something, just to catch if there's something there. But they just keep doing things. They just keep doing things, and they're not good at it.
For those of you who don't know, Niantic is the company that runs Pokemon Go.
All right, good call, Niantic. My dipshit of the week is more of an umbrella. My dipshit is the odds market for NFL draft betting. So on Tuesday morning, on a subreddit, a sportsbook subreddit, there's a user named SaleAgreeable2834 who posted Will Levis, the Kentucky quarterback, is currently plus 4,000 to be the first pick. And he's telling everyone that he's going to Carolina. You're welcome. And within hours, depending on what sportsbook you looked at, it went from plus 4,000 to, at some reports, plus 40. I think it settled out at about plus 450 in a lot of places. There were people who were just dropping bets left and right. There's a user in Colorado that was reported to have dropped $825 on a plus 3,000 bet on Will Levis. I know.
To Carolina? Wow.
That's like the 6th highest quarterback on the list.
I know.
Okay, I will say he has moved up. He's like 3rd right now. 3rd and 4th. It's between him and Richardson.
Oh, God. If that happens, could you imagine, though?
Jesus.
All hell will break loose.
If that happens, and you guys are going to have to remind me, if that happens, that's definitely going to be what we lead with in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
That was my dipshit of the week. Was that whole situation? It was just, I mean,
Market
literally,
manipulation.
yeah, literally, some guy came out and said it that nobody knows who this cat is. He's not been identified. He's just a Redditor, and everyone went nuts.
Stroud too, like he just got shit bagged, like out of nowhere, and his stock draft just plummeted within days.
Well, and that happens a lot with
Yeah.
teams that are trying to get players to drop.
Yep.
Right. This
Nothing,
is the lying
nothing
season.
you hear the 2 weeks before the draft is real.
Added bet: Will Levis to Las Vegas.
Ooh. That they
He
just
likes those
they
kind of
have a
quarterbacks.
they have a quarterback.
Come
He's
on
got
now.
he's got the chin
For now.
junior. Yeah.
Come on now.
For now.
I'm not saying he's good.
He
I'm
gets
saying
injured
they
at
have
least once a year.
their
Come
Come on
quarterback.
now.
I know we've talked about this and it's been cut from the show, but shout out to my cousin Logan, who looks a lot like Jimmy Garoppolo. Oddly.
He does.
That's funny.
He does.
Does
I'm
he
leaving
bet
that
Porn
in.
Stars Weekly also?
Yeah, I mean, he's got his situation's pretty settled at this point.
Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
She makes delicious baked goods. I see them on the interwebs every
Does
day.
make
He
delicious.
doesn't have all those strippers and hookers in Las Vegas trying to buy a night with him.
I'm sure that they do when he goes there. He's a good looking dude
Yeah.
and kind of an animal when it comes to partying.
Mm-hmm.
That's always fun.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Good shout out. All right. Final thoughts. Pimp the things. Talk about the stuff. Tank, starting with you.
It says Gene Mingo right here. Make sure you talk about Gene Mingo. Oh shit! I was supposed to say that in mute.
Tank, what do you got?
I'm oddly excited for draft time. I always kind of pay attention to it, and it makes me happy that it's finally coming through. And I'm super happy that we no longer have to hear about Aaron Rodgers and whether or not he's getting traded anymore.
Right.
Right.
That has literally been the news for 6 months. So,
That was what somebody said. Asked me today. Hey, what do you think of the Aaron Rodgers stuff? I'm like, thank God I don't have to talk about it anymore.
yeah,
Right.
That's what I was thinking too. As soon as I
Right.
saw that news pass through, I'm like, oh, thank fuck.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank
I
God.
have to mention it to my wife once because she's a Packers fan, so that she knows what's going on, and then we're done with it.
Mm,
And she, well, we have to talk about it. Yeah, we have to mention it, so we say it once, and then we're done with it.
Right.
yes.
No more Aaron Rodgers
No more Aaron Rodgers.
for now.
How's the Avalanche game going? We still 2-1?
Still 2-1.
Second,
Okay.
second
Well, hopefully the Avalanche pull it out.
There you
what I'm hoping for. And then you can find me Tank Knox or Knox Nostalgic Collectibles on all the socials. There's a potential for me doing a solo next week for NTK. Not sure yet. We'll see. I would not bet on that. That's for sure. It's a possibility. But if I find something better to do, I will be doing that instead.
odds makers decision. How much of a possibility is it not? Where would you put that percentage at?
Yeah,
Minus 325.
that's probably about
Not
accurate.
happening.
Yeah,
That's not
on the not happening.
Yeah,
So
right.
Plus 325 if I take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so probably see you in 2 weeks. Thanks.
There you go. Yeah, probably. Mr. Vacationer, Honeymooner, what do you got?
Yeah. Well, I'm starting here in Denver and going to Boston and Bermuda and then back to Bar Harbor and back to Boston and then back to here. But me and the wife will be doing all kinds of shit. Check us out on the socials. We got a new social media post page just for the honeymoon. So that'll be fun on the gram. Yeah, that's all I got.
You want to call out the @ there so people know what it is?
Gene Mingo. What? I don't know what is the @ for the Instagram. McPoffle_1015.
There you go.
Check us out.
There you go. We'll get you into the 21st century, I promise.
We have a gram. I don't have a gram. We have
know.
one.
I know. I'm aware. I am aware. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, the My Brother's an Idiot Facebook page. Just search that. You'll see the black logo and we'll get you in. The Goon Squad Twitter is @Idiot Goons. That's also what the Twitch is. Mark's Twitter is @PoffleTime. Mine's @Puffalopagus. You can find me on TikTok at King Goon Smoke. Big thoughts, obviously, with Val Nichushkin and whatever it is that he's going through. Big guy. We hope that everything works out okay, and we're looking forward to seeing you back on the ice with your teammates very soon. Make sure you take care of yourselves, take care of your families, take care of each other. For Tank, the big edge presence, the vacation boy, the absent dipshit. We love you, dipshit.
We love you.
And the absent Moti. We love you, Moti.
Moti.
This has been My Brother's an Idiot. We'll catch you next time, probably in 2 weeks. Don't count on nerds that know next week, because none of us are going to be here. We'll see you next time. See ya.
Bruh. Walk with the big